Alrighty, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing? Are you doing well? You know that I hope that you are. Welcome back to Nwadei MMA, the daily series where I give you my thoughts, but more importantly ask for yours. Guys, we had a hell of a weekend. We had some amazing events. BKFC put on a great show. Maybe one of the most enjoyable shows that I've watched of BKFC, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Yadong versus Ricky Simone and that fight night, my takeaways from it, and much more. Your takeaways from it, of course. It's been a long couple of weeks, man, cornering a couple fighters, getting people ready for fights, getting myself ready for this Muay Thai tournament that I just went to yesterday. I'm going to be posting a video on that later. But right now, I'm just icing my feet while I talk to you guys. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to help support me, your boy, Noah. And you're more than welcome to subscribe to join the channel and for more daily MMA content and in-depth fight analysis. Alrighty guys, so where do we start? Let's go ahead and start with the UFC event, right? So the first person I want to talk about is Trey Waters. 6'5", guys, listen to me, 6'5" at welterweight. Okay, that's crazy. Trey Waters versus the undefeated Josh Quinlan. Trey Waters made his UFC debut, and this is just like 2 weeks after winning the LFA title at welterweight, and so he took this one on short notice. He just fought for the title and won the title at LFA. Takes this UFC fight, wins his debut. Hell of a week or month for him. Yeah, I'm sure he's a little beat up and sore too. I would imagine he's gonna take a break after this, but yeah, big prospect for the welterweight division right there. Just defeated an undefeated fighter in the UFC for his debut. A lot of eyes on him. I mean, even DC ended up interviewing him afterwards because it was a good performance. He has a fun style, almost like that Bobby Green-esque, except without like the front kicks and without like the Philly shell. He's long, he's rangy, and has a good sense of his range as well, and he's also comfortable. So it's man, he showed a lot of promise. Trey Waters, Josh Quinlan, he didn't look bad either. He just looked like it was hard as hell to get in on a guy who's 6'5" for the welterweight division, which I'm sure it is. All right, he doesn't have the longest arms. He has a 77-inch reach, which is still really long for a welterweight, but it doesn't match his 6'5" height. I mean, guys, if you think about it, his fighter Saya isn't even 6'5". He's 6'4". You know what I mean? Alex Pereira, 6'4". But yeah, a lot of promise for him. I wonder who he's going to fight next. I would assume he's just going to stick to like the top 30 or top 25 just to get a little bit more experience and money in the UFC. That's kind of what these new guys do. They fight a couple fights before they get to that top 15 just so that they can, you know, put their feet in the waters and earn a living and start to build a foundation for their UFC career. So I'm excited about him. Good prospect. Adolfo Vieira ended up getting the submission win. That's a good win for him in the middleweight division. Fernando Padilla knocks out Julian Erosa in a banger of a fight. He touched him up and he was accurate. That's one thing I've always noticed about Padilla. He's very accurate. I just wondered if he had everything it took to finish people early. Because if you're long like that and you don't have that pop behind your punches, almost like a James Vick, people are going to start figuring you out. People are going to start trying to walk you down, and that's when it gets dangerous. That's when you start ending up like Luke Rockhold and things like that. And we're going to talk about Luke Rockhold a little bit later. But let's get into Kai Barallo making a statement against Mikhail Oleszejczyk, another good fighter in his own right. Really good fighter, good boxing, good ground game. Kai Barallo he showed levels though. The guy Oleszejczyk, he came out to scrap right away. Kai Barallo came out to scrap right away. He was trying to make a statement. People saying he doesn't finish fights or whatever just because he has like what 2, 3 fights, 4 fights in the UFC, and most of them have went the distance. I mean, there's times where you finish fights and there's times where you assert your dominance and show your level and your skill level. He got a finish on the Contender Series. That's what got him into the UFC. He had finishes before then. That's what even got him onto the Contender Series. It's kind of foolish to think he doesn't finish fights, but you also got to remember that he's adjusting to the UFC. He's trying to first find his formula for winning in the UFC, and then he starts finishing fights. This is what you got to realize about these guys. You can't just judge them right away if they're not finishing fights right away, because more often than not, it's because they're actually taking the smarter approach rather than just trying to end things early and get a bonus. So props to Kai Barallo. I'm pretty sure a lot of people if they didn't know who he was, know who he is now. Yeah, he's a contender in this division. I mean, I think he has like the second longest win streak in the division right now under Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis has a 5-fight win streak. He has a 4-fight win streak. I want to see him in that top 15, maybe even fight a top 10 guy next. That'll help skyrocket his name and start pushing him towards that title. That's an exciting, new, young, hungry contender for Israel Adesanya to potentially face. I don't think he's gonna face him, to be honest, but another one who can have a potential matchup with like a Paulo Costa or a Khamzat Chimaev or a Robert Whittaker. A lot of exciting matchups for him in his future, or even a Dricus du Plessis. So I'm excited to see Kyle Brown. Where do y'all think he goes from here on out? Because, man, it's a tricky one. I don't know who I would want to see him. You know, actually, a match between him and Rodolfo Vieira, that might not be a top 15 match, but yeah, that's an exciting fight. I would like to see that fight. That would also bring his name up, at least in the jiu-jitsu world, for sure. And it would be a tough test to see where his grappling's really at, his defensive grappling's really at. Yeah, that'd be a tough test. So moving forward to the main event, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon. Wow, what a performance by Song Yadong, you know? Ricky Simon didn't do bad. It just seemed like he was a step behind Song. I figured that if he couldn't get control on the ground of Song Yadong, if he couldn't get him down early in the rounds and early in the fight, that he was gonna have some trouble getting in, because Song's boxing is it's super crisp, guys. It's super crisp. Song found an early home for that overhand right, and then later found the home for the left hook, which is what he actually finished him with, the overhand right into the left hook. And you saw it kind of progress, him making his reads, him establishing his reads, and then him finishing the fight with those reads he had made previous. And that's how you know that is the upper echelon of the division, just high level stuff. Ricky Simon, he made a good name for himself. He made a good outing, and you know, I was leaning towards Song before really delving into Ricky Simon and his style and stuff like that, and I thought that Ricky might be able to implement his style. I just thought that maybe he was a little less active than Song, and so he'll be able to implement his game plan a little bit less. But all in all, good win for Song Yadong. Just crazy the way it came out, crazy the way he was able to defend those takedowns and to showcase every aspect of his MMA game. It was truly impressive, very impressive. He called out Sean O'Malley, called out Chito Vera. Don't think he's gonna get that Sean O'Malley fight, but that would be an exciting rematch with Chito Vera if they can make it actually at bantamweight. Their first fight was at featherweight during COVID times, in which Song won. Chito thought he won. Not do another one. It moves Song closer, it builds Song's name, and yeah, one more fight after that, and wouldn't he be fighting for a belt? So I think that's an exciting fight. I'm glad that Song called him out. I'm glad he called multiple people out, not just Sean O'Malley. That's good. I would want to see that Sean fight. That's one that I think we're gonna see in the future, and that's an exciting one. Song's boxing is ridiculous. But let's move to BKFC, huh? BKFC. So a lot of people have mixed opinions about this bare knuckle boxing thing, but you know what? It's very interesting to me, you know. So overview about my feelings on BKFC, and you guys can comment below and tell me what you think about BKFC. I always want you guys to comment as you follow along this video, but BKFC, you know, yeah, there's a brutal part to it. There's a brutal side. You know, you see the damage, you see the swelling, the immediate swelling, all the cuts and stuff like that, and I can understand how that can throw people off. But you know, I actually like the technique of it though. Like, it's not just a backyard brawl. There's certain punches you can't spam. You can't spam the jab over and over again, and people realize that you can't punch people on the top of the head and just get away with it. You actually see multiple people, Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez, were both leaning into the jabs and leaning into a couple punches just to point the crown of their head so that they can maybe break a knuckle or a fist on their head. And I feel like you're going to see a lot more techniques used to break hands in BKFC as well, such as things like maybe pointing the elbows on their guard and stuff like that. Various techniques that they use in like Muay Thai and different other martial arts, and I think it's going to bring more martial arts than just boxing into the game of BKFC, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Now, I also like how everything matters. everything matters. The circle, the ropes, and it being a circle. If it's a close fight, it goes to 6 rounds. Like, there's a lot of little intangibles that are just very interesting about BKFC. Now, getting into the fights that we watched, starting off with Chad Mendes versus Eddie Alvarez. Holy shit. What a fight. I mean, do y'all not respect that kind of war? That kind of excitement, that kind of intensity that fight brought? Sure, like I said, it's brutal. It's a little brutal. You see cuts and whatever, that people don't like to see. But God, that was art. That was artwork. And then how about Eddie Alvarez hearing Conor McGregor say to land the uppercut? He lands uppercut, points to him in the crowd, and all kinds of different just theatrics going on in the fight. How about Chad Mendes fighting the seemingly bigger man? I mean, I think Chad Mendes is on some shit now, like some TRT or something, because this man is stacked to the gills. Overall, though, close fight, very close fight. I mean, I could have seen it going either way. I think they had it right, though, going to Eddie Alvarez. I just think he landed a little bit more punches, a little bit more clean as well, that his knockdowns were a little bit more damaging. But Chad Mendes, man, did he make a good showing of himself? I hope it's not his last fight. I didn't get to see his post-fight interview. I saw Eddie Alvarez's a bit, but man, what an exciting chapter in Eddie Alvarez's career. The Underground King. I mean, the guy got that nickname when he was in Bellator, just being a champion. Everyone's always so focused on the UFC and stuff that he's the Underground King. And then he comes to the UFC, and then he wins the belt in the UFC against Rafael dos Anjos, one of the most skilled champions that we've seen in MMA. I mean, what a story for Eddie Alvarez. And now he's doing his thing in BKFC. I felt like, man, he did good. He looked good. Their boxing, it looked good. It looked clean. They were throwing clean combinations. They were being a little bit more patient than and like less activity than you would see in a regular boxing match with 16 or 10 ounce gloves, due to obviously it just being bare knuckle. And I respect it. I like it. Clean technique. What's there not to like, really? Alright, moving on to Luke Rockhold versus Mike Perry. This is kind of how I thought it was going to go. It's kind of how I saw it was going to go. I knew, yes, Mike Perry is a smaller person. Luke Rockhold, he's even big for 185 in his MMA career. But he's never really been a boxer. His boxing looked a lot better in this one. Please understand that I really mean that. His boxing looked a lot better than it did in MMA ever. I mean, he actually was using the check hook how it was supposed to be used. He was jabbing, he was covering up well, he wasn't getting hit with any clean left hooks. It looked like he fixed that problem. I just think that, yeah, he's getting up there in age, and he might not be a fighter anymore. You saw in that Chris Weidman fight that he had that dog in him to come back, and I don't know if he still has that. He fought very hard against Paulo Costa. He fought to the end, a brutal fight. I mean, yeah, I might be disrespecting him a little bit, but all in all, Mike Perry, is he like the the draw in BKFC? Is he like the biggest fight right now in BKFC? Is he the John Jones of BKFC right now? Is he? I mean, we always knew Mike Perry had power in his hands. We always knew he was a nasty, dirty mother lover with his hands, and that he was tough, iron, granite chin, and just, yeah, we knew that Platinum Mike Perry had it. And then he goes to BKFC, and now he's 3-0, 4-0 in BKFC. And yeah, Luke Rockhold took some punishment. He delivered some punishment. He staggered him, but you could tell that he wasn't used to just throwing with that bare knuckle. He wasn't comfortable with it. Every time, like, he would land, and then he would kind of, I don't like that, and just shy away and stop the activity. I think that Luke could have, if it was like 4-ounce gloves or something, if they had like padded knuckles, would have put on an even better showing than he already did. I think he still did well, but I think that Mike Perry just digging into the body the way he did, hitting him with that nasty jab and knocking his tooth out. I believe he knocked his tooth out. I believe that's why Luke stopped. Man, it was just, what a brutal fight. Mike Perry, Platinum Mike Perry. He's a legend, isn't he? What do you guys think about this fight? What do you guys think about BKFC in general? Please let me know your comments down below. I don't know right now their roster, so I couldn't tell you who Mike Perry's gonna fight next. The MVP fight, that's still on the table, right? The rematch. I want to see that again, because I don't know if Mike Perry really won that. I thought MVP won that fight. I don't know if my MVP wants that fight again. Who knows? Mike Perry is a mother lover to deal with. The way he dips his head into those fists, and he's just, it would just be not a fun fight. It's just not a fun fight. But let me know what you guys think. overall. Yeah, let me know what you guys think moving forward about BKFC, about who Song Yadong fights next, about where Ricky Simone goes on from here. What you guys think about the UFC card, BKFC card? Which ones did y'all watch? Did y'all watch both of them? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. More videos coming soon. I have a Demetrius Johnson and Adriano Moraes 3 breakdown coming out very soon. 1 championship versus the UFC video coming out very soon. And much more. So guys, stay tuned. Stay ready. Click that bell icon to be notified when more daily MMA content comes out from this channel. But with that being said, y'all stay safe and stay blessed. I'm out. Peace.